Hello, my name is Jim Byers. Today is April 21st, 2014. I've lived in the High Point area for the last 36 years, and I've owned a business in the Bay Vista Business Park for the last 13 years. For those of you who don't know, High Point is located in mid-Pinellas County, just immediately east of US 19. Has approximately 15,000 people in it and over 700 businesses. The video you're about to see is a brief documentary on the development of the Pinellas Safe Harbor homeless facility that was established in January of 2011. The planning of this project started with Mayor Foster of St. Petersburg and Judge McCready, the Chief Judge of Pinellas County, in about 2009. It evolved to the point that it reached the Board of County Commission in December of 2010. However, in the background, there was a lot of meetings and conversations between the various parties involved in it, between that 2009 time frame that it was started by the Mayor of St. Petersburg and the time it arrived at the Board of County Commission meeting on December 14th of 2010, actually agenda item number 23. This plan certainly did not follow the typical route that plans like this follow because of the circuitous route it took getting from St. Petersburg to the point that their homeless problem was displaced and put into the High Point community. The BCC essentially heard this in the full version for the first time in December 14th of 2010. The plan came in literally through the back door, through the county administrator's office, the former county administrator being Bob LaSala, and it was well underway by the time it arrived at the BCC meeting. The building had already been selected, furniture had been gathered up, and staff had been lined up for it. In essence, the cart was put before the horse in this particular case. It was only after the program was pretty much in place and somewhat of a guarantee that it would go that it came to the attention of the High Point community. And there was a small article in the St. Pete Times a week or two before the county commission meeting, which truly surprised the businesses along 49th Street and the residents of the High Point community themselves. After they knew about it is when a number of public hearings were held, both at the facility itself and at Bayside High School. This video is about a 12-minute clip of the Board of County Commission meeting from December 14, 2010. The meeting actually lasted more than 2 hours just on the Safe Harbor program. The meeting was agenda item number 23, for those of you who care to go back and look at the archives of the county commission meetings to get the full import of what was said and who said it. The video that you'll see shortly is just about a 12-minute clip of the key promises that were made, key representations that were made by the various elected and appointed officials. You will hear promises of the program would save about $9 million a year for every 250 people that were in it in the operation of the Pinellas County Jail, as it would be a jail diversion program. It would make High Point a better place for everybody to live, and it would, in essence, solve a good part of the homeless problem in all of Pinellas County, including St. Petersburg. During the meeting, you will hear people talk about their reservations about this program just simply being moving the problem from one location, St. Petersburg, to the High Point community. And keep in mind that St. Petersburg has a population of about 250,000 people, so 400 or 500 homeless people there is much different than having 400 or 500 homeless people in a community of 15,000. Please listen carefully to the key speakers in this video clip. And keep in mind the promises they made. At the end of this video, after you see the clip of the meeting, I will explain to you what actually has happened and what promises were kept, essentially none, and what the impact has been on the High Point community. Thank you.
Agenda item 23.
Madam Chair, I'd like to have Carl Harness, Assistant County Administrator, make a brief presentation.
Madam Chair, members of the board, please allow me to make a brief summary presentation on the project here in discussion, the Pinellas Safe Harbor Shelter. Basically, the proposal is to utilize jail annex building on 49th Street North at the county jail complex, which is currently vacant. Primary purpose for the facility is to ease jail overcrowding and to operate the facility as a diversion, prison reentry, courtyard complex, but also providing alternative to incarceration for chronic offenders.
Well, in my gross estimates of numbers, I figured if you had 250 chronic offenders or diversions, times 365 days a year, times $100 savings, that's $9 million in savings to the jail. And that's without your fixed costs. So I know that would alter, but I think the onus would be, if this is the sheriff's program, he has to manage his own budget. And that doesn't include coming back to the county commission for more money. Yes.
Tim Barnes with Justice and Consumer Services. One of the grants for $74,000 is a carryover of a grant that exists currently. The other three grants are new grants for this year. So one is the reentry court grant for $500,000. One is $300,000 grant specifically for chronic offender diversion, and then there's a new grant that's received by the Public Defender's Office related to mental health and chronic offenders, and that's the $750,000.
Okay. Welcome, Sheriff Coates.
Thank you. I'm going to have Chief Deputy Gualtieri join me also, and he's been really working down in the weeds on this project and this initiative, as many of you know, and he's done a commendable job. And I'm just going to make a few general comments here, but I would ask that you support this initiative. I think it's very much needed in our community. We're asking for your support in concept, and we're asking for your support financially. And I will tell you that our financial request is limited to the utilities and the general maintenance that you would normally perform on that particular facility. This is not just a sheriff's office effort. This is a team effort comprised of many community leaders, the judge, the public defender, the state attorney, of course our office. A few of the mayors and have already signed on. I think a few of the cities have already signed on to this project, and we anticipate, I suspect, many more joining us. I've had inquiries from other individuals throughout our community requesting the support. We've even received, although minor, donations from community citizens, and we expect various vendors and other community businesses to join on and help support this initiative. We see it as a cost-saving project to the taxpayers and to our budgets.
Will you be able to record and show us the reduction in personnel and expenses at the jail to offset that?
Well, the numbers, we'll be able to show it, and benchmarks are important to make sure that we are accomplishing things.
Well, I really urge you to put that in place from day one. Some tracking method, some accounting that will be reported to us to show that and verify it on a regular basis.
Bob, Mr. Maroney.
Thank you. You gave us 101 reasons why we should support this. A lot of great reasons in there. Saving money is one of them. But I have to tell you, I think you failed in one area, the involvement of the neighborhood. And I know you referenced it already, but I just want to talk to you about it, because this is the only problem that I actually have with this. And the principal of High Point Elementary didn't know anything about it. The High Point Community Center wasn't aware of it. I talked to businesses in that area. I frequent a lot of the businesses on 49th Street. A lot of them are my friends. When this hit the paper last week, and I called them to see if they had no idea what was going on.
Mayor
Thank
Foster's
you,
been
Commissioner
working on it.
Maroney, for expressing that, because they heard me over and over again about the surrounding area and security and concern about that, because certainly we don't want to push the balloon from one end and be causing problems in other areas of the county that didn't happen before.
Right.
There's some of those utility costs.
Well, let me ask a question along these lines. And excuse me if I don't have all the figures at my fingertips. But if the basic premise of this proposal, which is a very exciting proposal, is that by diverting these folks who don't need to be in the jails, who don't belong in the jails, to a less expensive facility that better meets their needs, everybody's better off, especially those of us paying for those costs. So if there's an existing cost now, and we're now diverting these folks and running things differently at a much reduced cost, doesn't that savings fund the new services? And that savings is coming largely out of the jail operations. I would think some out of the different law enforcement agencies, some out of public defender, state attorney. Wherever those monies are being spent now, I don't understand why we need all these commitments from all of the cities and all of the counties, because there's your money right there. In fact, the answer, I think Commissioner Lavelle asked it earlier today, is, and the rest of the savings, where does it get allocated back to?
Sure.
Should be the bigger question. So I'm not quite sure. Well, I would like to see commitments from all the different partners, and it's great that we're all working together. But it seems to me the money's already budgeted there. So if you tell me you've got the money to do this, that's fabulous.
And it will be even more than that, Commissioner, because the predominant funding and what we have committed to it is all non-general fund. So we're taking general fund money from the jail, providing a more cost-efficient alternative, and only the $210,000 comes from the county's general fund. So the savings is compounded, if you will. And exactly what that effect will be, and hopefully soon, hopefully we'll get some guidance from you and from Bob as far as what the expectations are for FY12, and part of that $1, $2, $3, $4, whatever $1 million budget reduction that we have to make for FY12, that'll all be part of this.
okay.
And so then what happens with that savings? What happens with that money? That's up to you all to, if you want to use that as part of the $200,000 for utilities, et cetera. Of course, that's your decision. But I agree. And it will be even more because, again, the bulk of it is all non-county general fund. And the more we get from the other cities, then those costs go down. The private partners, the food costs in the proposed budget are $310,000. But we believe and have indications that we're going to get strong community support. Right now, there's extensive street feeding that's going on in St. Petersburg and other areas. If we can channel that and get those folks to come there, we have a...
Well, but let me stop you right there, because that kind of bleeds into my next concern is, I know the saying, I think it's in the medical community, first do no harm.
Right.
And as good as this proposal is, we have to look at how it fits all the other pieces of the puzzle. And we already have whatever amount of money we're spending for food services in the jail. If we're able to do this at equal or less, assuming all the other pieces are less, why do we need to ask the community to come in and do the feeding if we're already paying for it and we already have that money? And I only say that, not that community involvement isn't fabulous, but if that's less community involvement we have at Pinellas Hope or one of the other shelters or at a soup kitchen, then we've done some harm to the larger support network. And so, if you could address, especially with the grant funding and with all the agencies that will be coming together to support this project, which is good, if they're now less able to do the support that's needed in other parts of the community, then we have to weigh that.
People have been complaining about this for the 38 years I've been in this business. This is the first time I've seen a collaborative effort to try to deal with this problem. And I don't know, I'm not a fortune teller, I can't tell you it's going to work, but I know it's the first time I've ever seen anybody try. And I say let's quit sniping at it, try it. If it doesn't work, shut it down.
Well, I'd like to reiterate what Bernie said. For the court's sake, the diversion program is beautiful because they never get to court. They're diverted out. They never have to come to court for anything. So it's less work for us. And as many of you know, a year ago or so, Mayor Foster came to me and said, what can we do to help with these homeless issues with the jail? And the Chief Deputy came to me and said, what can we do about reducing the numbers at the jail? And I put together a group that included many of you and everybody else that's spoken here today, and this is what they come up with. And I can't even say how impressed I am with the comprehensiveness of this proposal in this short period of time. And I'm with Bernie in saying that we have a very serious problem. This is a potentially great solution. The problem is there. It's going to be there. Let's give it a try and see if it'll work. And,
Thank you, Judge McGrady.
But we have a homeless outreach team of a lawyer and a forensic placement specialist, and they are out there addressing these problems. And this facility gives us incredible potential to solve a problem that has been around. I've been around 35 years. Bernie's been there 38. We've been having this problem since then. Our failure in this so far really was not letting the community know that it's the same group of people that are there already. We're trying to actually make it safer, because when they get released from jail, they'll have a place to go. My grant, the $750,000 grant, is for the chronic inebriate that has mental health issues that needs medical detox. Medical detox is expensive. And we're not.
Exactly.
But they're already there because they're going into the jail. And then when they get out of the jail, they're wandering up and down 49th Street. So this is not taking one problem and moving it into a place. These people are already there. They're just in a different facility. And then when they get out, they're roaming around out there. And again, that's our challenge, is to provide a better environment through this.
Well, I agree, and I agree it doesn't fix anything, but at least it doesn't create any additional harm. Going back to the model of first do no harm, it doesn't create any additional harm to the High Point.
I don't know about that, because you'll have
And
more
then
of
at
it
the end
right
of the year,
now.
and I want to go and sort of reiterate and restate Commissioner LaValle's statement on the end of the year measurables. And at the end of the year, we're going to have a measurable sort of document that shows us exactly what this has returned to our taxpayers, how we've been able to fold that savings, cost savings, back into the funding of this structure, correct?
Correct.
And what we spoke about. And the measurables being the thing, and we're going to have a pull the plug sort of option if in 6 months this is going terribly wrong. We're of the mindset. See, I understand it, because our position, quite frankly, is a utilitarian. We're going to support in utilities and things of that nature. We're not running this operation. The best thing I heard out of you, Sheriff, was it's on me, brother, and it is. So I'm hip to that. But so I see us in support of utilitarian, and that's okay. I'm comfortable with what we're looking to do here and that dollar figure. But at the end of the year, going forward, the whole concept of coming back and asking for more money, you can do that all day long. You're going to get a no. So you can come back all the time. You can. It doesn't matter. So come if you will. But if we notice this isn't working, and I think Mr. McCabe mentioned that, we're prepped to pull a plug.
Let me just make one comment, then I'll move again for final comments, please. I am willing to support the motion. I think that's very well put. But I also want to make it very clear that, and you've kind of already said it, there's no coming back to the well for more money from the county.
No.
At all, for anything. This is our commitment. We're not going to come back and say, whoops, we need another $500,000, or we need this or that. This is it, as far as I'm concerned.
So we've made this.
Chair Brickfield?
I have a question on the building and the utilities and the ownership. Do we, Pinellas County, own the building?
Yes, we do.
That's why we pay the utilities and maintenance. Sheriff, I love you, but I'm not understanding this. It's been reported here that if you want to open a jail diversion program, you can go ahead and do that with or without our permission. Got it. But does that mean we have to allow the use of the facility? No. It's the vote's really, do we want to allow it in our facility or not? Isn't that right? Yes? No?
Well, that was the second issue that the
Yes,
chairman mentioned.
it's something that we have identified Bob and I, as this has come up, we really do need to have better written contracts with our constitutionals for the use of these properties. And going forward, I think that's something that we need to do. I mean, we have to have a clear understanding as to whose rights and responsibilities and operations and maintenance and everything else like that.